Hey and welcome to my video. My name is Nina and today we are going to be decorating Wade's villager yard and my Pier. Now let's walk over to his little space. I decided to place his house on my beach right next to my Pier so that he can kind of be the keeper and guard of the Pier, because I thought that for my favorite little penguin it would be the perfect job kind of for my island. So yeah, let's get started. Now with this space behind his house, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to be doing, so I started off by raising some cliffs, but this is all going to change later. I will eventually get to transform my waterscaping a bit and will eventually kind of make it less look like a river and more like a smaller lake with some tiny islands in it. So I wanted it to feel very tucked in and still be quite a nice view if you would stand right behind his house and overlook this little lake slash river thing. So yeah, you will see me fidget with this waterscaping and terraforming a bit, but I eventually get to make it work and I really like the outcome. It's actually, I think, one of my favorite parts on my island because I really enjoy the waterscaping and the tiny floating islands that I created. So yeah, I think it just creates a very nice backdrop for Wade's little house, and as he is my favorite villager, I wanted him to have a very special place and also type of decoration, kind of. And I was thinking of maybe creating another Pier thingy that would kind of branch into the lake, but I decided not to go for that because it's right next to the actual Pier on my island and it made the lake feel a little... I keep saying lake, I'm not sure if it's a lake or river. I think technically it would be a river, but I think it looks like a lake in the end, so I'm gonna keep referring to it as a lake, okay? Just for reference. Yeah, but I just felt like it made the lake look a lot smaller than it actually was, and I wanted it to be a nice view, as I already said, so minimizing the space was not my intention. Then I planted a bunch of trees so that the area would feel more full and add a very nice kind of background to his house and make it feel more cozy and tucked in, because I feel like those areas that are right next to the beach can feel a little sparse, and not sparse, but kind of too open to feel cozy in a sense, if that makes any sense. So I tried to have the terraforming and trees create a little foresty, lush backdrop to his house, as I probably mentioned before. Yeah, and this lake also borders a kind of fake peninsula that I created and plopped a picnic space on there, and you have seen this little peninsula island thingy that branches into the lake here, but without any decorations, because this also borders Melba's orchard. So I decorated this off camera because it's a very tiny space, and I am at this point very close to finishing my island, or I have finished my island, but while I was building this I was very close to finishing, so I wanted to finish those smaller spaces off camera, yeah, just for time purposes, and focus on sharing larger builds with you guys. I know you can probably not see the waterscaping right behind the cliff, but just because I know that it's there, I kind of also want it to feel natural and not too straight without any curved outlines. So I wanted to still feel very natural, and it does show on the map eventually. So I just want to keep my waterscaping very natural, whether it's visible or not. And then I continued by laying out some pathing that would lead from that little bridge to Wade's little beach space. So yeah, just to emphasize that this is actually a path that leads onto the beach so that people won't think that this ends right here before they actually get to his house. Now I continued with adding some bushes and flowers and began to also go over and down to the beach so that his little space would tie in with the rest of this build that we just kind of terraformed. So because I don't love decorating my beaches, I kind of try to treat them as land, like actual parts of my island that would be on land. So I like to try and keep my beaches also very overgrown and try to make them flow into the actual land parts of my So I try to create paths that kind of seamlessly lead onto the beaches so that it doesn't create such a border, like the border that actually separates the beach from land. I try to kind of conceal it by just continuing my design regardless down onto the beach. Yeah, and that also made Wade's space feel and look a lot bigger than it actually was. Now next to my pier, I wanted to keep it very simple and just cozy. I didn't want to go for the typical fishing theme that you see many times. I have done that before and I think it's beautiful, but I didn't think it fit. It probably fits Wade, but it didn't fit my island theme very well. So I decided to just go for some barrels and a life ring and then just a bunch of flowers and natural items so that it would tie in with the rest of my island. And because I love them so much, I also gave him some yellow rain boots that I just think add a little pop of yellow to any space, and they just look so sweet and just like someone just walked through the rain and kind of plopped their little boots there. And in front of Wade's house, I decided to give him a little porch, kind of. So I put down those wooden custom designs, and that kind of makes it look like he has a little porch where he can just sit outside maybe and watch some fishies maybe, because he is very obsessed with fish and bugs as he is a lazy villager. Now on my actual beach, I decided to go for a blanket pattern and then add some cozy items on top. So I am later going to put down a futon so that he can lie down and just enjoy the soft breeze maybe and take a nap, because I know he likes naps. And you might think, this is such a small space, Nina. It's so easy to decorate. Why are you overthinking it so much? And I have no answer for that, but I am overthinking it a lot, and I never ever know how I can make it look good at first try, kind of, when I have a smaller space, because I'm so limited with my tiles that I can put items, and I like to pay attention to certain groups of items. So having larger items in the back maybe, and then some smaller items in the front, and then not having them in straight lines, so that, as you can see here, I try to kind of make it look like they overlap, kind of, the tiles. So yeah, I was just fidgeting with it a lot, and yeah, but I really like the outcome in the end. And I also tried to utilize some dropped items so that you can have some more visual interest without blocking off the area and not make it accessible. And something was throwing me off with this life ring and stool combination with the coffee cup on top, because I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. And now to create some height variation, I decided to, for my final design, go for the Zen cushion with a stack of books on top, because that just adds a little height without using a super large and chunky item. Because I did want to preserve the airy feeling that a Pier kind of has, because it's like out in the ocean basically, and I didn't want it to feel super cluttered, but it was lacking some height, and that's how I fixed it. And I did exchange the yellow rain boots for the red ones, because this area is very close to my apple orchard, and I do like to drop some apples around my island just to pop in some red here and there and make it feel more cohesive. And I also added that life ring, which has red in it, so I felt like it was lacking some, yeah, just red. And then next to his little house, I gave him some barrels and a water pump, because I imagine a penguin would very much appreciate some water sources, kind of. And then I just plopped a bunch of decoy ducks in there that would kind of play in the water, I imagine. And maybe it's some distant relatives of his, you know? It's birds, so they might be related in some way. And now behind his house, I just kept on adding some natural items. I added some fencing, a wild log bench, another bush, and just some more items. I plopped down a stool and just some items that kind of look like he had a, I don't know, maybe a, not, yeah, just an area for him. I also love dropping some mushrooms on top of that little tree stump custom design, because it looks like someone chopped down a tree and then just mushrooms grew on it, and it helps to fill a space wherever I drop mushrooms, because they are very small, and it looks very weird to me when I have custom designs everywhere but not underneath those drop mushrooms, and then it just feels very empty compared to other custom designed tiles. Then I went ahead and decorated on top of that little cliff that we built earlier, so that the design would also, yeah, just exist up there and it wouldn't be a barren, empty cliff. I just added a bunch of flowers and some fencing, a couple of bushes, and then also a decoy duck on a little water puddle design, which is kind of a basic for me. I always like to do that. And I also added a mum cushion, because I have grown to love them and also grown to use them, because I usually used to forgot that they kind of existed, and I try to use them a lot more often on my island. Yeah, they are a very nice item for natural areas, because they are a bit different to the log furniture, which I love to use. And I also added a petal umbrella or parasol. I'm not sure what they are called exactly, but they just look like huge daisies and I love the look of them. And then I continued with the design on the beach, where I went behind Wade's house and added a bunch of flowers and weeds and a couple of those wooden plank patterns and some rocks, just to create a very scattered loose pathway to indicate visitors that there is actually something back there if they would walk behind Wade's house. Yeah, but I didn't want to add a full pathway, so I opted for those rock designs, and yeah, I really like them, and I did that on all of my beaches, so I think they fit very well together and they feel very cohesive. Also, another classic for me is to fill my empty beaches where I have absolutely no idea what to do with them. I just like to fill them with some laundry, so I like to add some clothing lines and some laundry baskets like those old-fashioned washing tubs, I think they are called, and also some buckets and some classic pitchers, just some items that would make sense in a laundry area. Yeah, and I like how the laundry on those clothing lines flows in the wind, because the beaches are very windy. So yeah, they just add a lot of visual interest, I think. And yeah, I just love them. Then I just sprinkled in some more details, added a red pair of socks to again also add some red to that little laundry area. And then that kind of wraps up the build for today. I'm going to leave you now with a montage of the finished product. If you enjoyed this video, I would very much appreciate it if you like and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here. And yeah, take care of yourself. Until next time, and bye bye.